Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another bedroom discussions. I know it's been a while. We've been busy taking care of some personal things. There's still a lot going on. When is there not anything going on right now in this country and in the media and all over the world? Something that caught my ear just the other day was something that Senator Lindsey Graham had stated, senator in South Carolina. And I guess this is interesting to me because I spent a good part of my childhood growing up in the state of South Carolina. I lived there for almost 10 years, growing up there in the 80s and 90s. And I knew it was backwards back then. but it's just probably gotten worse. Or maybe it was just always that bad and I never realized it. But Senator Graham made a statement that I thought was rather obtuse, but I'm not surprised that it came from him. And he stated that people of color or African Americans can go anywhere and do anything they wanted in the state of South Carolina as long as they are conservative and not liberal. And I was like, say what now? I said, okay, that's silly. And I heard clips and snippets from the Breakfast Club. I heard Charlemagne, the guy, talking about it. And I was like, because he's from South Carolina, so this topic was near and dear to his heart. And he was saying how important it was, to get out there and vote and get these people out of office that have been there for eons, because Lord knows Lindsey Graham has been there for forever. And I just thought that was very odd. I was like, who is he to try to tell people how to think and what to do? And then my husband made the comment, it wouldn't matter if you're conservative or liberal or whatever, because as long as you're a person of color, you're always going to be a target. And I didn't think about that until he said that. So I thought that was very interesting that you pointed that out.
That's just how it is. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter your political affiliation. It's a us against them mentality that is displayed. And if people haven't seen that by now, then they're definitely not paying attention. But I mean, I ain't trying to start no fires or nothing like that, because I don't think it's a fire worth starting. But it's to me it's no different than um, the I'm gonna get this wrong, but the LGBTQ community stating that you know people are, especially people of color, coming at them, because they're gay. And I'm like, bruh, I can assure you that people are coming at you first for the color of your skin. So you being whatever you want to identify as gender wise, that's like secondary. But same thing here, conservative or liberal, like they gonna come for you. They gonna come for you regardless if you're a person of color. So you being a conservative or liberal, it may seem safe at first, but yeah, it's just not a good place to be. So I mean, his comments are ignorant, but they're typical of a lot of politicians and a lot of people's thought process in general. So I think a lot of people are just far too polarized with the political system, and they're so entrenched in how they want to view things, and not wanting to help people out. So but that's the type of stuff that you get nowadays. And well, that you've always
that you've always
that you've
gotten.
always gotten, I guess. But
It's just, I guess people either had blinders on or tried to act like it was hidden, but it was just now that we
yeah,
have a president that makes it seem like it's okay to put it out there and just be racist, then it's like, okay, sure, let's just let people that were acting like they couldn't see, let them see it now for what it is. And it's always been like this.
yeah,
It's just that we finally have someone in the forefront that's saying it's okay to show your racist side out in public. It's all right.
yeah,
It's okay to act like it's 1955 all over again. It's all right.
yeah.
No, it's not, because it's about to be 2021 and it's really not okay. There's been so many crazy things going down with the election and everything. And I was also listening to DL Hughley yesterday on the way home, and they were talking about how um, people that are sending their ballots in the mail, how there have been their ballots are getting blocked from getting in the mailbox. People are putting up fake mailboxes just so that their ballots won't go in. I mean,
Yeah.
they're pulling out all the stops just to get people to not to have their ballot counted. And I was like, that's taking a lot of energy and a lot of stuff. I mean, as soon as he said like a fake mailbox, I'm thinking of something like on a cartoon. Like it seems so animated and cartoon like to just do something so silly just to try to stop somebody from voting and getting their ballot in the mailbox. I thought that was kind of funny, but I was like, the links that people will go to.
You know, I partly listened to that as well. And I was talking to my mentor about that. And because DL's point was, you know, voting is your power. Um, and I'm not trying to take that away from anybody. If you want to believe that voting is your power, then that's fine. You can do that. I guess what I just want people to be mindful of is just think about the system that was put in place. Like this system is put in place for effectively white males to dominate. Why would they put a system in place that allows even a minority, any minority group that they can't, fully assimilate, any minority group to enact that type of power through voting? I'm not saying that you can't vote. I just want you to be mindful of that. And because DL's point was like, oh, well, why do you think they're trying so hard to dissuade you from voting? Well, my thing is, I'd say that it's a distraction. It's keeping you from doing the things that you really need to do in order to subvert the system. Because if you're still playing into the system, then they know they don't have to work as hard. Yeah, people are like, oh yeah, they're doing a lot to stop you from voting. I'm like, this isn't a lot. This is just typical of what they do. So it's like, I don't, I personally think it's a distraction. If we can get you, if we can keep you thinking about voting, then we don't have to worry about you, changing your financial situation or changing your education or anything like that, because the only focus is on voting. Again, I'm not saying that you can't vote, and I'm not saying it's that you shouldn't vote or anything like that. If you want to vote and you feel like that's important for you, then go ahead and do it. But are they doing a lot of stuff to try and keep you from voting? Yeah, but why is that new? That's not anything new. They did that to our ancestors, the ones that y'all say strictly died for our vote to right, our right to vote, excuse me. But I believe that our ancestors died for much more than that. And I just think voting is a small part of that, personally.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I just thought it was like, I was like, wow, it's just amazing that
they're going out their way.
They're really just bending over backwards and doing they're doing the most.
Yeah.
To try to keep this man in office. Another thing that I found interesting are these little groups, like these smaller little groups, political groups, like conservatives for Biden. I find that very interesting as well. Black Christians for Trump. I find those little groups very interesting too.
That's very ironic.
Those are some very interesting ones that I like. You see little signs, around, and I had seen an ad on YouTube about the conservatives for Biden. And I was listening to a little man from Texas talk about how he grew up, in a Christian home down in Texas, and they're very conservative and all this stuff. And he was like, this time around, we're voting for Biden because Trump, he's just disappointed us in so many ways. And he's not the Christian man we thought he was. And I was sitting here cracking up to myself.
Y'all so stupid.
But I was like, there's a little group of conservative people down in Texas and probably all over the U.S. that are just like, yeah, we're voting for Biden this time. And, or people that just basically have voted Republican all their lives are going to finally vote Democrat because because, they just feel like Trump has let them down so bad. And I was oh.
I have zero sympathy for any white evangelical, or forget white, just any evangelical, especially Christian, who is disappointed in Trump. I'm like, at what
do you expect?
Like, at what point did you ever know Donald Trump to be religious in any sense of the word? Just tell me when. Because you won't be able to.
Yeah.
The man, like, according to, I guess how Christians live their life and things of that nature, Donald Trump has failed miserably. You think he's asked God for forgiveness about that stuff? He doesn't care.
Well,
and y'all are disappointed in how he's acted. Seriously? Get a grip.
I mean, you guys knew from jump that he's a businessman. He's no politician, and I don't know how many people.
And he's definitely not religious.
He's definitely not religious. The only thing he sees is green.
Yeah, that's his God.
That's his God.
That's his God.
And
he ain't even that good at it, but that's his God.
And I don't know how many of you guys are, how old you guys are, or if you've seen clips from back in the day, but it was like in the late 90s, early 2000s, Trump had made a comment, on somebody's talk show saying that, right. He said, I could run for president, and he said, and people would vote for me too.
He said that he would specifically run as a conservative, basically, and this is me paraphrasing. You can definitely look up this clip, but basically stating that they'll believe anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was right. He knows.
I can't say that he's wrong, but at the same time, I think I honestly think you can do that regardless of whatever party. I think that it's easier if you're a conservative, because maybe a lot of them won't fact check you or something. I don't know. I can't speak to the base of both parties, but I guess the assumption that I'm asserting is that somehow Trump supporters aren't as smart as Democratic supporters.
He's basically calling people dumb. He's like, "You're going to be dumb enough to vote for me."
And again, I can't. I can only say that based on what I've seen in, like, I guess what I've seen on TV, or the other people that I consider friends on social media, like, and just listening to their arguments about stuff. And I'm just, talking about just like, some of the things that they say, it's just like, that sounds just doesn't sound intelligent.
No.
And so I think that's one of the reasons why, he said, he could say things like that, because it's like, I think he knows, that I guess conservatives just kind of want to believe whatever that person's going to say. But at the same time, I kind of think that that's just people in general. I think, people just want someone to say some of the, or, espouse some of the views that they believe and all that good stuff. And, regardless of whether it's Democrat or Republican. But yeah, I think that's what he was getting at. But yeah, it is what it is.
I just think it's funny looking back, because I don't know if a lot of people have seen that clip or not.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely saw that clip, and I just thought it was funny. I thought it was funny.
It's like, he was like kind of foretelling the future, just like how The Simpsons kind of keeps seeming to do that.
Yeah. I find that no different than, how Black people are by default are supposed to be Democratic, and if you're not a Democrat, then there's something wrong with you. And it's, and I guess that's the difference between the Conservative Party or one of the differences between the Conservative Party or Republican Party and the Democratic Party is Republican Party will kind of say it to your face, you know, and I don't think that sits very well with a lot of black people. And you know, I'm sure when people hear this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, he's clearly Republican." I'm like, "No, I'm just pointing out things that I've noticed. Is all." Democrats, on the other hand, they'll say things tactfully or say things in a roundabout way that may seemingly go over your head.
I think we talked about that in our last video too. It's like they kind of.
Oh, did we?
Kind of like, kind of undercover instead of saying it to your face. They say something else.
Yeah.
But a person like a conservative person will just like be like,
I don't like you because you're black.
But then a Democrat will be like, well, I like you, but they'll say something else to try to distract you.
They'll be like, I like your votes, but you know what I'm saying?
Person, I might not say be careful, they'll say it in such a syrupy way that you'll be like, okay,
right? And, you know what I'm saying? So like, because Trump saying that he'll run conservative because he'll believe anything is no different than all these other white politicians who went Democratic just so they can get the black vote. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that they're just taking advantage of the system. They set it up for them, so they're doing what they're supposed to do. Am I mad at it? I could be, but me being mad at it ain't gonna change nothing. So I'm not happy with it, but it is what it is.
I think it's all just hilarious in the end.
Yeah.
I still feel like a lot of people of color, a lot of African Americans, and this is my personal opinion, I still think of the ones that aren't very educated, that don't know too much, and even some of the ones that are educated. I feel because, if people are just so, I guess, forced to go either one way or the other, that they're really just voting for Biden just because he was up under Obama.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but I feel a lot of people are, after having discussions with people and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the only reason why they're voting for Biden is because he was under our first black president. So he's got to be good. I'm like, I don't know a lot of the stuff that Biden has done back in the day. A lot of things, the policies that he put into place have hindered our people.
Right.
So I'm like, have you done your research? Have you done your history? Just because he was under Obama don't mean nothing. At least not to me, but
I mean, and again, people are probably going to be like, oh, well, he's definitely a Republican. No, like the thing is, like, people are talking about how bad Trump is for Black America. Biden has been in politics for much longer and has been way worse for Black people.
He really has.
than anyone realizes.
I don't think anybody wants to hear that, though.
And nobody wants to talk about that, because right now Donald Trump is going around looking like an ass.
He looks like the devil compared to Biden.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? And so, and I've seen people on social media talking about the lesser of two evils. And I'm like, I mean, you can do what you want with that. To me, it's, you still don't have to, vote for them. There are other people on the ballot. You could say that it'd be a wasted vote or whatever, but if that's your answer, then that's on you. But let me segue a little bit, because I hope I didn't talk about this on the last one, but I was definitely I was talking to my mentor the other day, and we were talking about Trump versus Biden or whatever. And ultimately, we don't care. However, I told him. And if this just doesn't solidify it, but I told him I kind of want Trump to stay in. And my reasoning for that is, if Biden gets in, our people are going to get complacent again. Like, right now, we are motivated to move ourselves, or at least elevate ourselves, somewhat, more so than any other point that I can remember in my life. And I feel like that, this whole Trump administration is kind of like lighting a fire under Black America, which is I'm technically I am totally okay with, because we're doing things, like I said, I'm seeing things that I haven't seen before with our folks, and what I don't want is that fire to be gone, because now Biden's gonna make everything all right, which we all know isn't the truth. He ain't gonna make everything right. He's gonna take it to business as usual as it was before. And we're kind of gonna assuage the Black community with Biden and get them back in line, kind of thing. And that's what I don't want to happen. And that is the only reason why I want Trump to stay in. Other than that, I don't care for either one of them.
Keep the fire going.
Right, to keep the fire going. Like, if Trump being in is going to keep the fire going, then I say let's do 4 more years of Trump. And I thought I would never say that, because when I first, saw that Trump was even running for president, I said, if this man wins, because I was in the Navy at the time, I was like, I'm going AWOL. Of course, I didn't do that. But the thing is like, again, ever since he showed up, like, I don't know, I feel like Black America done came up some now. There are some spots that are getting hit hard, just like anybody else is. But again, I am seeing things that I haven't seen before in Black America ever since Trump came around. And I don't want that fire to stop just because Democrats in the office.
Get complacent. Like, people like, oh, we can relax for a bit.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
I'm like, yo, you Black in America, there is no point in time where you get to relax.
Ever. You always have to have your guard.
Unfortunately, up. that is just our life. That is, we can change that, but don't ever think that some politician, especially a white man in America, is going to come fix your problems. Don't think that.
Because in the end, he doesn't care about you or your family.
There is nothing that has been done in history that has shown that they have compassion for our people. Because if they did, they would have rectified their situation. This whole slavery thing would have been rectified.
Yep.
If they had the compassion back in the day, it would have never happened.
Yep.
But they don't have the compassion for our community. I'm just stating this as a matter of fact. As a whole, they do not. Yeah, you'll find individual people here and there who are really good, good peoples, all that good stuff. But as a whole, and especially as politicians, they don't got you. I'm just letting you know.
They just don't.
I'm just letting you know.
That's how it is, unfortunately. And as people like to say, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that was kind of some random thoughts that we had this week for bedroom discussions. Because like I said, this is an election year, and it's like you try not to talk about things dealing with politics, but it's just out there. And it's like, it seems like it's the only thing to talk about. I know there are other things to talk about.
I know, right? We're gonna find something next episode. We're gonna find something different.
We're gonna find something else to talk about.
I'm politicked out, man. I'm tired of hearing
I'm politicked
that,
out, but
man.
I just want to get one more good thing in, because I always feel like something juicy keeps popping up every day. Either something juicy or something really stupid for me to talk about. But
yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to another session of Bedroom Discussions. If you like what you heard, please subscribe and hit the like button and share it with anybody. And we will see you guys in the next video.
Yeah. Later.